So in this video, we're going to focus on the process of qualifying a lead. And what does that mean? Well, for instance, having a customer or a prospect where we have a conversation with them and not know whether they're actually interested in their service is not a good thing. You don't want to pass on a lead to the salesperson or sales manager and waste their time. So your job as a sales lead generator is to qualify the lead, establish a connection, and really identify whether they actually are in need of our services. So the sales qualifying round is very simple for the most part. Essentially, what you're going to be doing is asking a series of questions in order to gauge the prospect's interest. And from there, you'll be able to determine whether they're a right fit for a company or not. Okay, so it's broken out into two parts. The first part is sort of a general sort of sales pitch, if you will, just to throw some more sales thing in there to see if they're actually interested. And the second part is more, the actual question and answer segment. And this is where you actually dive into the questions that you need in order to qualify the prospect. So we've helped other businesses similar to your industry increase sales and efficiency by as much as 20%. And that's sort of a general statement. At this particular point, you're just, telling them that you've worked in similar industries to their business and you were able to increase their overall efficiency for other companies. And we'd like to do the same for you. That's kind of the message and the tone that you're going. So assuming that you're on a conversation with the prospect and they seem to have a little bit more leisure time in, you want to get into sort of the qualifying round section. And the qualifying round, it's simple. Do you have 10 minutes to answer? Do you have 1 minute to answer 3 simple questions? Oh, sorry, do you have 1 minute to answer 3 simple questions? Right. And from there, depending on your answer, if it's no, obviously, you say, okay, no problem. How about I give you a call another time? And maybe, you try to find out, well, what's the best time to reach you? Or is there an email address in the meantime that I could send you some information about our products and services? That's sort of the path that you want to go down. So if it's no, not a problem. How about I get an email address and I'll send you some information and I'll give you a call back another time. That's sort of the general tone there. On the qualifying side, assuming that they said yes, then the main important thing is you want to set a tone where you're asking the prospect a series of questions in order to gauge their interest and also to spark their thought process in thinking about some of the things that they don't necessarily think about on a day-to-day basis. For instance, these business owners, to give you some example of their mindset, these business owners are more, generally speaking, traditional in the way that they operate the business. And this essentially prevents them from thinking about the internet and the web in, we'll say for this conversation, the more modern way. So what you're doing is trying to spark their awareness and so they could evaluate for their own self whether they are actually doing the right thing for today's audience, today's market, which is having a proper website. So the first thing is mobile. We all know that mobile is big. Google is suggesting that roughly more than 20% of their searches, or close to even half of their searches, are now actually performed by mobile. And so that's a huge, huge thing. And so when you go to Google now, you want to have, when somebody's on a mobile phone and they click on your website, you want to make sure that it's mobile friendly. So your first question to them is, do you have a mobile friendly website? Right? Is your website mobile friendly? And they may or may not know the answer to this. They probably don't even know what a mobile website is. So you probably want to explain to them a little bit more. Well, this simply means a website that fits on your mobile device, your iPhone, your Samsung phone, whatever it is, that prevents you from having to zoom into the content in order to see the information that you're trying to look for. And that's all it means in the sense of having a mobile ready website, right? Another qualifying question is, Well, sir, how many visitors are you currently getting to your website? How many visitors are you currently getting to your website per month? And some business owners know the answer to this. Some business owners might not know the answer to this, but again, this is a way for you to have these open-ended questions where it's not necessarily that the answer matters, it's the fact that they're thinking about some of these scenarios or situations. The next question is if they assume, and let's just say that they actually know how many people are coming to their website. Then another qualifying question is, well, how many are actually converting into leads? Well, do you know how many people are coming to your website? And do you also know how many of those people, so assuming 1,000 people came to your site, how many people actually filled out your contact form or your registration form or whatever form you have in your site? What are the conversion? How many people are actually converting into leads that you or your admin person or your salesperson could then make a call to and follow up with that person? So how many people are signing up? That's a very great qualifying question. And I said 3 questions at the top, so I want you to stick to 3 questions, but the conversation could go any which way. And again, this is just a bonus question that you might want to throw out there. You know, do you have someone currently optimizing your website? Is your website optimized at the moment for search engine? So in other words, when people search on the internet for the name of your company, can they actually find you? Are you on the first page of the Google, or at least within the first few pages that you can be found? Google has stats that actually shows that only 10% of anybody that actually does a search actually clicks to the second page. That's how low that number is. Normally people just re-enter a new search term and move on from there. So these are things that you want to have a conversation with the user and have them be aware of these types of questions. And depending on their answer, you're going to say, well, sir, you know what? I'd love to have one of our salesperson touch base with you and ask you some more in-depth question. Again, I'm not the technically qualified person. My job is just to sort of gauge whether this is something that you might be interested in or not. And then we'll have a more resident expert have a conversation with you on this. Is it okay if I send you some information about our process? And normally they're more receptive at this particular stage, sure. And then you say, what's the best email address to reach you at? Sort of send out an email with regards to that. You could also do what we call a test close. So figure out whether, they really want to actually do something like this of the sort. And I would suggest that a test close you should only do if you've had 1 or 2 conversations with them. You don't want to rush right into a test close on a brand new lead. It's just not the way to go. You haven't built a rapport with that particular user or prospect as yet. And so it's just a little bit awkward in that sense. But a test close, you want to offer a free consultation. You could also, schedule a 10 minutes call to provide more information. That's considered a test close. That's kind of the primary goal of this entire sales process. But also you could throw some, general marketing statement. Well, our website improvement program is heavily discounted. It's 40% cheaper than the average website cost, just to see where their mindset is in around cost. And, depending on where they are, you tell them, well, our web packages is only, $49 per month for hosting, and that includes email as well, and $3,500 for a mobile-friendly website, a basic website, essentially. So they're getting a lot of bang for their buck. And what you want to do is at least give them some opportunity to get a good gauge of whether the price fits their budget, right? Not all, some people, there's lots of people that sell a lot more cheaper websites, a lot of people that sell more expensive website. Our prices are sort of in a mid-range level. So you want to convey that message to them. So this is overall a high-level process. The next video, we're going to go a little bit more in depth in the sales or qualifying leads, more the advanced section. So in other words, once you've gotten a handle on the basics and know some of the questions that you need to ask in order to qualify a prospect, these are some more advanced questions that you might be able to interact with them and have a more in-depth conversation.